Alright, today is April Fool's Day, April 1st, and it's Saturday, and it's a beautiful day with just slight, well, they're not really cool breezes anymore. This morning they were. And so it's Saturday, it's April Fool's Day, April 1st, and you're at Fort Myers Beach. And it's about 12 noon. And this building again is just sitting like this. I'm going to call up the property medic. They probably rent this space. That's why it hasn't been repaired. Otherwise, because they're building a couple spots on Fort Myers Beach, and they wonder what's going on here. I did fix my my shifting mechanism today. I forgot to align my brakes again, so I'm kind of sad. And I sprayed it, so hopefully it won't make any more sounds, but who knows. But this place here, you just need one. You need to do a lot of work here, but the building itself is still there, it's still here, so it's still got potential. I mean, these windows are ugly anyway. Vixens over here. That's really cool, making a tent, you know, an air conditioned tent. That's actually an awesome idea. I wonder if I could do that for a real estate office. Probably can. Has to be of sound construction. That's what the rule used to be. That there probably is. Who knows what the definition of sound construction is? So people are waiting for the bus, and I'm putting on my ballistic glasses because I am facing ahead with it. I cleaned my ballistic glasses, so I should be able to look out. That's the thing, you clean them. I got the suntan lotion all over my hands, and I get it all on my lens of my camera, and then I get it on the sunglasses, the ballistic glasses. So St. Carlos Lodge, they're still trying to sell. It's vacant. Last I looked, it was like a couple $1 million. They're trying to sell this too, to the right-hand side. It's still sitting the way it was when the hurricane hit. On the left, they're slowly starting to rent out the slips again. Someone was selling old boats here 2 weeks ago. They sold them out within the week. Wow. So now that I fixed my gears, it's harder to pedal up the road here. I actually have to downshift. But the downshifting works. But the nice thing about it, just passed over a nice group. Looking for dollar bills, but you know what? Oh, just passed over a nice screwdriver. So today's bicycle riding premise is one, I want to see if the treasure chest that I saw 6 weeks ago, I now know the road that it was down. I want to see if it's still there. So that's going to be part of the exploring part of the bicycle trip. And then another premise I was thinking is what would be a good idea if you had the money to buy the property on Times Square. How would you configure it? And I have some ideas. I'll show it to you. I'll share them with you because I don't have the money or patience or time right now to develop it myself. So someone else who's listening who's got $7 million, this advice is for you. A lot of nails on the road. It's kind of sad that I don't have an electric bike. If I had an electric bike, I would have been over this bridge without huffing and puffing. Same token, I like the exercise. If you take an electric bike on the beach, forget it. That bike is gone. So, for the cost, electric bikes have come down in price. You can get an entry-level electric bike now for about $250. They're really tiny ones. They only hold the charge for about 20 minutes, but that's all you need it for. The bicycle that I would need still is about $1,200, and that would only hold the charge for maybe an hour and a half, which is just a bare minimum. You get upwards in the 2,000 plus models, 2,000 plus dollar models. That's where you start getting the electric bikes that have some range on them. I mean, my bicycle trips here are not that long. They're about 2 hours, but still 2 hours. And the range is not too long. We're only looking at about between 16 and 18 miles. Right. I forgot to adjust my brake. I mean, my front brakes are adjusted. They're tight, so they're good. But I didn't adjust my back brake, so it's a little weak. I was adjusting my wheel because my wheel was touching my frame when I sat on it. So I had to adjust the wheel. And I was going to adjust the brakes to compensate. I forgot. I would adjust it now, but I forgot to put a wrench in my. I usually bring with me an adjustable wrench. I didn't put it in my car today. Sad. We went garage selling out this morning, and me and a friend, we loaded up the car. I got a lawnmower, he got a bicycle, and a whole bunch of other things. But I was just taking stuff out of the car. I took the adjustable wrench out too. I said, yeah, let me put this adjustable wrench away. And I forgot I'm going bicycling. Normally I would leave it in the car. All right, so that's gear 2. I'm gonna shift up a little bit. That's the lock. Thank you. So this is unconventional way here. Again, I'm on a bike. I don't have to follow the roads. I'm wrong. So Lynn Hall Park right now is still free. This last I was told it was free. Who knows? It looks like it's still free. So people are parking there. So that's, you know, it's making these properties around Lynn Hall Park highly desirable right now. Of course, you can't plan a business that you're going to spend 40 years on an amortization note on, but still, it may take them a year or two to get the parking fees back in situation. That would be good for this local business. This hotel right here is such a good buy. If you had money to buy the Sandcastle Beach Club, the ground floor is still, I mean, everything about it. They just ripped out everything, but the shell is there, so it's ready. It's like you have a certificate. It's like you built the new building. You have a certificate of occupancy. I smelled it. Doesn't smell at all, which is good though, because now you get to design the hotel the way you want. Same as this place here. People who park down here are getting robbed. They don't realize that Lynn Hall Park is so free. And look at the place on the left. They graded it really nice. People were even people were actually using some of the shade here, calling that the beach. Nice. I'm surprised people don't park in there. I'm not going all the way down again because I know Bobblers Point is still not open, so it makes no sense. See, a lot of people are walking. They must live down here, renting. So it looks like on the left-hand side there was a whole mound of stuff. They took it away. So we're getting property, again, ready to be developed. So you have the property medic. They must own that land. And all these other lots, they're all for sale on the right-hand, left-hand side. I see for sale signs everywhere. What? So I'm turning around here. This over here, the Best Western Plus. I really love this property, but unfortunately it's not for sale. I'd love to make this in the middle of a casino. It's on the right part of the island, the right side, where there's the least amount of traffic to worry about. And it's easier to get on and off the island on this side Fort Myers Beach. Yeah, I see they're just trading around Lynn Hall Park. They're not going in. So, and Pink Shell, there's nothing to look at down there. It's the same. You saw my earlier videos. Take a look at one of them. You'll see Pink Shell, bingo. The only thing about Pink Shell is that they actually fixed their pool. They just haven't added water to it yet. See, that person is going to go out here on the beach because there's access. Nice. See, it's interesting. People are looking for beach accessibility. I guess some people want to go on the beach alone. Yeah, my bicycle is pedaling really good. After adjusting that back wheel, there was a little, I don't know, my bicycle took a harder hit for some reason, whether I was taking it out or putting it in the car or hitting a bump or one of these sidewalk things, whatever. It took a hard hit, and it just misaligned the wheel just a little bit, just to gently brush up, not really hard, but just touch it. But it was making an irritating noise, and I was losing what I call rolling force. Last thing you want is that when you pedal, you start coasting, you don't want to lose rolling force due to the tire just gently, almost imperceivably touching the frame and slowing it down. People are looking for 7-Elevens, that's for sure. Well, if you're on this side of the island, they're looking for bathrooms, they're looking for 7-Elevens. They're gonna have to look a while. Oh, smart move, yes. Free parking in there. Alright, but the problem with the free parking is everyone knows now it's free parking, so everyone parks. Again, any building, especially this building here, this old, whatever it is, the Winds building, or it says Salt Life on the outside. That is a great building. I mean, it's been damaged inside, yeah. But which building has not been damaged? The second floor looks like it's still used as a warehouse, still in business. So, again, you got an ice cream. Wow, okay, this place is probably making a ton of money. Oh gosh, I hear Tom Petty now. It's coming from a speaker that's mounted. Now here's that music I can't stand, but here's what I thought. This is the old, on the right hand side, this is the old Dairy Queen, Pier 1, and top of mast. So if you're looking straight ahead now, that was top of mast. Pier 1 was right here, and the Dairy Queen was at Bricks over there. Now, you see the pier that's been destroyed over there, where all the pelicans are roosting? There's an end to the path here. There's an end to the, and it's level with this grade here, this piece of property. So it would just be nice if they made a broad walk out of concrete or a boardwalk out of wood, and extended this boardwalk all the way down to Margaritaville, because Margaritaville is building a broad walk, a concrete like sidewalk between their property and the beach. And you know what? Pedestrians, beachgoers, they like concrete avenues because some people are like the non-committal. They still want to walk the beach, but they want to walk on a protected area. I see it's high tide right now. It's going to be challenging my bicycle ride back. But if you had a boardwalk here, you could build a ground level. If you're familiar with the Jersey Shore, you could build pizza parlors. They need a pizza parlor down here. I don't see enough of them. They need pizza parlor. They need ice cream. They need saltwater taffy. They don't have that down here. They need a sub shop. They need everything. They need little tiny. If you bought this property, what I would do is the second floor or higher. The inside property where I'm at right now could easily be a food truck and or a cafe. The property abutting the boardwalk, the broad walk, which would be level with this piece of property right here, because you can see the pier comes down level to this property, so you can build a boardwalk directly over it. You could put like kind of like Jersey Shore type of little like pizza parlors and stuff like that on that side, and then the second level could be dining, where you would have dining overlooking the beach. So you have sunset dining and dining overlooking the beach. That would be a big plus for this area. That way you can make money in the morning with the little restaurants that are on this little park here on this side, because you have that cafe type of dining, and then the beach goers at noontime would be walking the boardwalk. So half the people that would normally walk the beach don't want to walk the beach because it's sand or high tide. They don't want to get in other people's way, but they would walk on a boardwalk. It would give people more areas to explore. You can walk on the beach or you can walk on the boardwalk. So there's different people you can meet in each level, and the wheelchairs especially would love that. But people with walkers on a boardwalk. So anyway, just an option. I think that should be considered. I know Fort Myers Beach doesn't like to consider it because they're always thinking about putting trucks on the beach, and they don't know how the trucks or cars can get on the beach. But right now with the pier destroyed, you can get a car or truck through there on the destroyed portion, because you would need it at least. Right now it's only 10 feet high. You would need it at least 18 to 20 feet high. So that means they'd have to build the Fort Myers Beach pier twice as high than it is, and they're not going to be doing that. So anyway, enough said. Let's keep it going here. The little bulldozer, he's pulling up the concrete slab, so they're getting ready here. These people are selling photographs. Again, this is Food Truck Alley. Look, there's ice cream, shaved ice, tacos. Here's I don't know what place this is, but it's slowly getting more and more sophisticated every day. Hola Express. It's all food trucks right now. Okay, so you have Margaritaville. So they're painting it like that, the Mimi colors. Painting, not necessarily on that side, but on the side directly to the left of me, I can see that. We got a lot of colors, and all the glass doors pretty much are up, all the sliders. So, and what's surprising is it's only 2 floors. It's only 2 floors of rooms. And then beneath that, what is that? Is that going to be all dining? Is it going to be shops? Is it going to be like ballrooms? Or they're going to hold, and if they are going to hold conventions, they're going to need a lot of parking, because I don't see enough parking here. So that means that they're going to have to buy more land. So all this land on the left-hand side, even this Ocean Jewels thing, that's going to have to come down. They're going to have to buy that. Whoever owns Ocean Jewels, I heard his name is John. He's going to make substantial money. Now, if you could take that building and lift it, put it somewhere else on the beach, and sell the land, you could get just as much for the land and for the land and plus the building. So Surf Club, again, someone is rolling the dice and trying to fix that. Margaritaville on the right-hand side. They're building a huge wave pool. That's not a wave pool, but like a pool you would see up in Orlando at the Hard Rock Hotel. That's up in Orlando near Universal Studios. They're building the same type of. It's like a miniature version, but it is like a shallow-end pool. And then they're gonna put a slide in there, a nice big slide like they do. So here's Tuna Skin again. They're trying to fix up. The second floor looks like it's almost about done renovating. Ground floor, they're still working on it. But they got their little Tuna Skin thing going on here, which they seem to be making as much money as they did when they had their business. And they don't have to worry about parking either, which is fantastic. There's Yo Taco. The Lana Kai, something looks good about this place. It looks like they're just about ready to reopen. They did most of their restoration, and they stocked a lot of the rooms with furniture, so I think they're getting ready to reopen. These parking lots are packed, so the beach has got to be packed. Lynn Hall Park is at 100% capacity. So let me see if they're $20. There's $15 on the left-hand side. Let's see what's on over here. $20. All right. This guy lucked out. They knocked down those 2 buildings here, opened up this entire property. And there is a little diner over there on the beach. It's a beach. Well, let's drive down and check it out. check it out, because we're on bike and we get to do that. $20 a day. See, there is this little place over here, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's called Eats at the Beach. That's where all these orange umbrellas came from. I was wondering what was going on. Well, when I come back, I'll try to come back on the beach if the tide's not too horrendous. But yeah, that's what's going on. I see the Israeli flag, the American flag, Yamaha flag, Edison flag. Awesome. Here's the, let's see, I guess they fenced it off. I can't get over there. I was hoping there would be an opening in the fence, but there's not. There's that listening building. It's more listening from this side than the other side. It's nice how the beach became more back to nature. They're using, the less concrete, the less fixed items. They're still, they're putting some wood fence posts in, but they're not spending too much because they don't want to lose too much when another hurricane comes. They didn't get paid out too much. Oh, not this again. I wish they would fix this. I'm always fighting this when I come this way. Wow. Now these cars, the last time I came through here, they parked over here, they all got tickets on them. So I'm curious. The beach is crowded today. So this is Saturday, noon time. So people are parking here. They don't realize that this is not a free area to park in. You're gonna get charged. This building right here to the right of me, this building right here, I keep on talking about it. This is a good investment if you could buy a house. It's listing though, it's listing that way. Each of these 15 pillars needs to be dug in on that side, a hole about 6 feet deep on each hole, hydraulically then pulled, and pull this thing straight. And of course you need a ladder to get up there to inspect the place before you can make an offer and fix the banister. A lot of that wood is rotted, so you'd have to consider when you're fixing the thing, definitely buy plastic board, the stuff that works, stuff that holds up, so we don't have to keep on replacing wood. And definitely have to buy some treated wood. I mean, here at the beach, treated wood is it's ridiculous. It gets abused to nothing. Look at these cars on the right hand side. They're all parked illegally. They're all going to get a ticket unless they have some kind of like beach living decal that they're allowed to park there. Now this place here, let's see, it says beach bar. Let's see, what is the first word? No. Okay, well, the beach bar makes sense. That's the biggest hangout right now. That's the center of focus. Now, across the street, Mr. Tequila, that whole shopping center. I forget what it's called over there. Let me see if I can get the name. They want $10 a day parking. That's actually pretty good. I've seen $5 a day, but that's down by Snug Harbor. It's $5 an hour, so yeah, that's terrible. So the goods on the left-hand side again. If you're an investor, you got a lot of building to work with, but the building's been undermined. But people are parking there. You see, free parking. They're not worried about that. So they're parked there. All these destroyed buildings on the left-hand side. Sad. Oh, here's more open space. On the left-hand side, they just knocked down the old Billy's. It wasn't associated with the Billy's bicycles on Sanibel Captiva, but this was also Billy's bicycles, and they just knocked it down. So I'm looking at the building on the left-hand side, that blue building. You know what? You might be able to salvage it. I mean, the base building, they added all that wooden structure to it. Now that probably will have to go, but the concrete structure may be salvageable. Now, on the left-hand side, that is also free parking. Or maybe I'm wrong. Let me take a look at the sign. But this is free parking. Sidewalk closed. Okay, that's good to know on my way back, in case I have to go that way. So I would definitely park over there. Now there's a guy in the van back there. That's pretty scary. I don't know what he's doing back there, but Sometimes there was a police car parked in that parking lot that they would shoot people away. Now this place is open, Diamond Head. So they're still trying to fix the area up. Most sprinkler systems are not working. All the vegetation got destroyed. So, that's the last thing you put money on. Right now, you just want to get the rooms rented. You don't care about vegetation. Let the weeds grow. The weeds look nice. Trim the weeds a little bit. Still, the property, Century 21 Tri-Power Realty, they got good property, and their property is up first, which is nice. On the left-hand side, I see nothing but for sale signs. But the old Armando's Daycare on the left-hand side, and then the Shamrock Pub, that got totally obliterated. There is a building permit though. Now this thing coming up on the right hand side, this thing needs to be torn down. It says see you soon. But that's a wooden structure. It's gonna take some severe cash to bring that back online. And then up here, I don't understand at all what's going on with this blue building. This building looks like it survived. Even the air conditioning units on the roof on the left-hand side look like they survived. I guess when they put the wood up here, they put it up real fast so that the fire marshal won't pull a fast one on them. On the right-hand side, this hotel, it's destroyed. It's destroyed. But the property is worth, $40 million, 50 million. So if the fire marshal or someone could let you buy that property and fix it, because to build a property like that with the hyperinflation that's going on right now, you're talking serious dollars. But still, it's going to cost you serious dollars to fix it. Either you build new or you fix. So if you can get the prefab modular and put it together, that's not too bad. Alright, this is Mango Street. This is the street that the treasure chest is down. Let's go check it out. For this car. There it is. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, man. So and there's the whatchamacallit, the beach connection. I love that place. All right, so going down Mango Street here. I'm going to be looking for that treasure chest, and if I do find it, I will go mobile. Oh my God, there's a nail in the street there. I usually stop and throw those nails off. If I see it again on the way back, I feel terrible for these cars driving on the street. All these contractors come lazily flipping nails off their car. I don't understand that. All these homes need to be taken down on the left and right. I mean, if you could somehow buy one of these things and live in it, it is blue building here. It got totally destroyed. It looks like it's, rentable, but it ain't. It's been destroyed. All these, there's a lot. Now these coming up here, they didn't have the surf because the land decreases in declination here, so the waves are pulled back down to the bottom, so they don't actually break. They pulled back down. All right, so I have my vision to the right hand side. I want to see if that treasure chest is still here. I think I saw it over here, but there could be bums living back here, so I gotta be careful. It looks like there's makeshift housing, like bums are living here. That's the scary thing. It does. It looks like makeshift housing and bums. So if I walk back there, I might be walking into a bum's living room. Stealing his treasure chest. Disgusting. That's all I can say. There looks like a creek there, and it's flooded, which is sad because it's high tide. Usually it was low tide. I might not be able to get to the treasure chest. I didn't bring my surf walkers with me. Oh, there it is. There's the chest. There's the treasure chest. All right, so There it is, straight ahead. It's behind that branch, unfortunately. Over here. There's like a, see that little yellow pool noodle? It's pointing right at the chest. Now, can I get over there? Let's see. All right, we'll go overland. Okay, hopefully nobody will come and steal the bike. You guys are enjoying the video. Let's see if I can do this. There's a little bit over here. I'm not walking with someone's in here. Last thing I want to walk into is a spider web. These spider webs are huge back here. And they look like crabs, but they climb on the mangrove. Here's a TV. Broken branch. Water here. Broken branch. Let's just take a look and see if there's any more treasure chests. I think that was the only one I saw. Street ends, private condo, keep out. Okay, I didn't know that. But I'm an investor, I'm looking for property. Alright, I guess I'll turn around. I'm just looking over here at the right hand side. See if there's anything more. There's still a lot of junk. I don't think anybody's been back there. They have cleaning crews that have come through Fort Myers Beach and like the Island McGregor area. They did a great job cleaning up stuff. I see a whole bunch of garbage cans. I'm tempted because I need some. They're like not $8. They're more like $40 plus in the store. You get a lot of them back here in the mangrove. All right, so now as I'm heading back in a southerly direction, I'm hitting a ton of wind. Definitely is an onshore breeze. Now I'm looking towards the left again because I want to see if there's any more treasure chests. There's not. Right, well, satisfied that question. And the interesting thing is that those are old mounds. Now, they could have been dug when that drainage canal was put in. I'm not saying that they're not man-made, but if they were made before, let's say, 1850, there could be a good chance that those mounds were Indian burial mounds and or pirate mounds that have pirate treasure in them. That's one of the few areas of Fort Myers Beach that's been developed. So if you see a mound like that, any mound in Southwest Florida, if it was never developed, that's how the native people and pirates stored a lot of their loot. They didn't just like sink a ship and put a marker out there. No, a lot of the pirates did the same thing. They thought that if they took like a 50-ton piece of coral, like a big 50-foot by 50-foot round or square piece of coral, and they put it on top of palm tree logs, that would somehow cover up their treasure and it would keep it safe from the hurricane. But they don't understand that hurricanes with a 12.5-foot tidal surge plus 5 to 7 foot waves on top of that, that's going to lift that 100-ton rock, especially on top of drying palm trunks. Dried palm trunks are just as buoyant as balsa wood. So imagine a 50-ton boulder on top of balsa wood. It doesn't take much water to make that float. So that's basically what happened. Those boulders were moved to other locations, and the pirate treasures were lost. Fort Myers Beach accumulated 2 feet of sand additional on top of the beach. Now, I noticed a lot of the beach on my last couple of bicycle rides, the last couple of weeks, the beach has receded back inland. So a lot of that sand is being pulled out to sea. It looks like the tides of the sea look like slightly higher, but Fort Myers Beach itself had about 2 feet of sand added. Now they've obviously broomed and scraped a lot of the sand off the road, but there was a good 2 feet of sand here after the storm. They had wind-blown sand too. They're still closing up their FEMA site here on the left-hand side. Again, I like that Will Scott. I really wish I could rent that or buy it. I would buy it. And the beach inn, I love that on the right-hand side. They were working on it and they just stopped. We're still. I could just gaze through a couple openings in the windows and see that they just have framing in there, nothing else. So they ripped out all the drywall. It still the drywall has not been put in place yet. So, to me that means that they want to sell the place as is. So, if you look on a real estate site, you're going to see that beach shell inn or whatever it's called. Again, all the property on the left-hand side, all for sale signs. Realtors are making tons of money right now flipping this property, and they have to sell it now before buying an empty lot. You don't have to buy flood insurance per se. So this could be the opportunity. Once flood insurance falls in price, that will be the time to build on it, and maybe hyperinflation will go away. On the same token, are you going to flip the coin one way or the other? Yeah, see, it's always reading low tide now at the even though it's high tide, it always reads low tide. I don't know why. Out here at the library, this library needs to be knocked down. It's ridiculous. It's wasting space. Nobody cares about the library. Just wasting a lot of space. You know, and they're thinking about building a new fire building somewhere where they got the library. The library's got a huge basement where they can park like 10 fire trucks. They should use the library as the fire station. In fact, they should use the library as the fire station and the municipal building, because that would save Fort Myers Beach a lot of money. They don't need to have a library. People just use the internet now. They don't go to the libraries. So that would save Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers Beach Town Center got destroyed. They're looking for another fire department building. The library is just sitting there, not being used. Again, wow. All right, so there is a little piece of property right here on the left-hand side. I'm slightly interested in that building on the right-hand side. The Elias Brothers Group did a great job. This is some of the old gelato. So this is part of the Fort Myers Beach RV Center building. It's still standing. And then I think they tore down the red coconut one coming up. I don't see the red coconut building anymore. It was only half of it was standing anyway. And then across the street, again, that's the red coconut. The roads are still here, but the concrete pads are gone. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but also all the utilities have been scraped up. So you know, it's like a campsite, but there's no water, there's no electricity, there's no septic anymore. So just empty roads. So to tell you the truth, this should be where beach parking is. They should make this into beach parking. It would be perfect. And if they did make this into beach parking, then the property Junkaroo that they're plowing right now, which is interesting, then that would be a perfect place to own a business. Even 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, I wouldn't even build on this side coming up. 7-Eleven got wiped out. They should build on that side. Imagine a 7-Eleven. You could have a continuous Slurpee being served on the beach. I mean, literally. That property is well worth it. I mean, you could still, if you're a 7-Eleven, own this property. Looks like you could somehow certify your gas pumps still work. I don't even think the gas pumps were working here, but this property versus Junkaroo, I would take Junkaroo. If I was 7-Eleven, I would buy Junkaroo's property. Because this property makes no sense over here. I mean, it's a nice piece of property, but it just doesn't make sense because there's so much other properties available, and 7-Eleven has deep pockets, so you might as well put the deep pockets right now into practice, because your property is worth the same. It's just a lateral, but it's a lateral, and you're getting a nice property, and you have deep pockets to develop it, and the pull the permits. That's the key. They're going to say, 7-Eleven, we need you. It's a need. This building got battered, but it's still in operation. It's amazing. Century. I'm looking at the waves. There is a 1 to 3 foot surf that's happening right now, which is pretty interesting. And I'm looking out almost 500 yards out, maybe between 2 to 500 yards. There's a guy out there. Looks like he's fishing, but the surf out there is like 2 to 3 feet. Just bopping up and down in the surf. It's interesting. Again, any building that's still standing right now, there's a potential the fire marshal gave up, and he's allowing you to renovate, which he should have done all along. But the buildings here this building here is nice here on the left, but the building before it, I mean, that one needs to be torn down. Again, open space. I can still see more and more buildings are disappearing here. So there's more and more open space. But real estate signs are popping up everywhere. So if there's one thing, you got real estate signs. Realtors are finding out this is a hot commodity, this Fort Myers Beach. So people are going to buy the property. It's going to take a month to 2 months to pull the permits. And then to get the supplies, another month to order them. So it's a tough one because rainy season is going to start. So I don't think they're going to start construction right now. I think they're going to wait until November. So a lot of people are just buying property because they think the price is cheap right now, and that's what's going on. Because the time to get the permits done, I mean, you'd be lucky to get the permits done in a month, and you're not going to get that many concrete firms to be able to supply that much concrete. It's just not going to happen. Let's see let's see. It looks like another home got demolished here. They're saving the pools for whatever reason. The $30,000 pools they're saving. All right. Yeah, it looks like this. Yeah, they took down one more house and left the pool. Wow, how about that? Yeah, again, if I'm the owner of the property, sure, demolish it and just put a camper on it. Put a camper, at least you can live here. Your property taxes will at least be diminished by 60%, 60 to 70%. That's the value of the home. This home coming up here needs to come down, but there's people living in it. It's occupied. But look at it. It's scary. Let's put it that way. Not as scary as the Titanic house, which we're coming up to. Well, let me stop here because I always like to see if there's something there. I'm addicted because 7-Eleven is not in operation anymore. I gotta stop here. Terrible. Oh, they do. Thank you. So FEMA stores all their food underneath this church over here. So it says closed Monday. I don't think they're open today either. If they are, I'd be surprised. You'd have to not drive here. You have to drive up to the front to go in there. And I can see the church itself. I can see they did a lot of drywall and painting. So it looks like they're getting this church ready. I see that they got to put the handrails, the banisters in, but it looks like they're getting the main part done. Now, the second gazebo or roof, whatever you want to call it, they have a lot of, that under stuff they need to fix. But because the aluminum itself, except for the top spire one, the top where the cross says, they need to fix the aluminum up there. But yeah, this thing is salvageable because of the concrete posts that are holding it up. All right, we're gonna continue. Well, I might stop back here and get another drink. All the way back. So I kind of like this back to nature look. I like how Fort Myers Beach, they don't have sprinkler systems. I like how it's just natural. It reminds me of Sanibel way back when. Probably after Sanibel got hit with a hurricane way back when. Sanibel is getting a little too manicured. So now that the hurricane hit it, I was there, and Sanibel did not take as much of a hit as Fort Myers Beach. Sanibel was really spared. Most of the buildings on Sanibel, except for like Surfrider and Island Inn. Island Inn and Surfrider on Sanibel got hit really bad. Sanibel Arms West and they always lose the ground floor condos. All the ground floor condos got pretty much wiped out. Sanibel Arms West. But West Gulf Drive took the worst in Sanibel. I'm still waiting for them to open up the Sanibel Causeway for me to get out there. But until that happens, I don't want to drive on Sanibel because that's the only way you can get out to Sanibel. Drive boat, well, you can fly, yeah, but you can't bicycle. It's $9 per car because I don't have an annual pass. And once I open up my real estate practice there, I will. But I don't want to just go out there bicycle to pay my dollars. All right, so these people, they are enjoying themselves. They own a big piece of property, so they hooked it up to the. I don't like living on the road though. Oh, I'm talking about that. Oh no, here it is. Okay, the Titanic house is still here. Because the Titanic house should be knocked down. This thing is not salvageable. If it is salvageable, that's amazing. mean, it's got an aluminum roof, but you can see the buckling that went on in the aluminum. So whatever's holding that aluminum up, it's going to be quite scary when you peel that back and see how all the wood is buckled. And that's been exposed to the elements for over 6 months now. Some of these days being real. Look at the roof. I mean, it's torn up. It's all wood. So it's wooden support and wooden floors. And wooden on the outside. I mean, the amount of bugs and bats and everything else that's living inside there. Whereas these beautiful homes over here, look at that. Now that is nice. Even that house distant on yonder is nice to live in. The only thing going for this house is that you have a direct view of the beach, but that would be mighty expensive. I mean, I'm sure someone's going to try to fix that because the house is still standing. They're going to say, "Hey, it survived the hurricane." Well, if the house sustained that much damage, rest assured, next hurricane that comes through here, that's the size of Irma, or Ian, excuse me. Irma would do it too. This house is goner. Even if they were to fix that house, I would put metal sheathing on the outside too. I mean, literally, you have to almost strip the house down to its frame. Take all that siding off. That siding is ruined, and the windows, they're all gone. It's going to cost too much. You might as well build it from scratch. So I would knock it down. Just collect on the insurance, sell the property, and move on. That's it. Hello. This church. This is good real estate here. Now, I'm surprised someone hasn't bought this. I'm almost interested in buying this St. Peter Evangelical Church. Even if to open up a little tiny church. The way I look at this property, see, Sunday outdoor service, at least they're making they're bring a lawnmower. I like that one. Bring a lawnmower. At least they're making strides into trying to get this thing back up. I mean, but look at all the property around them. If you could somehow make that into even a hotel, a hostel or something, a bed and breakfast, B&B or whatever they want to call it, bed and breakfast. Yeah, I'm thinking of Airbnb, especially for Europeans right now that have cash that want to come over and you charge them $10 a night. They'll have half of Europe renting here. Some people are trying to take their tires out. I feel terrible. I'd go over there and help them, but I'm not asking for help. Well, the best thing they could do is across the street. There's a whole bunch of cinder blocks that are just scattered all around the ground. They should just pick them up and make like a cinder block driveway for their tires. Like here, there's rock all around, and if they would just, I know it's going to take some time. It's heavy, but they get themselves a little wagon or something. They can fill up the wagon, make 100 trips. Look at all these bricks. They could not only clean up this neighborhood here, but get enough bricks to make a nice concrete, at least pathway for their RVs, wheels to go on. And look at all that wood there. That's choice wood. They're doing a good job here rebuilding the deck. It's all wooden. It's wooden with, it looks like steel pilings with some kind of plasterboard over them. This is all wood up here. This guy with the ladder on the left-hand side. I see the pilings are well shifted on that, but obviously he paid, what, $3 or $4 million. He ain't going to let that slide. So we're only going to go down again to We're just going to go down to the Wyndham Resort, or Wyndham, whatever it's called now. What was called the Wyndham Resort, let's put it that way. I'm kind of curious to see where that big pile of sand is from last week. But yeah, there's more and more homes that are disappearing. I'm just not noticing. See, like in front of us here, the big pile of concrete. I'm not sure if this was here last week, but it's sticking out like a sore thumb. You still have these trucks, like the one that just passed, full of debris. So they're pulling the debris from somewhere, and they're going down to Lover's Key with it. Now, Lover's Key likes that debris because, let's put it this way, 2/3 of that debris is sand. And then of that, 1/5 of it is concrete. So they can keep the concrete and make artificial reefs for it. And the sand, they're just going to push it, make the Lover's Key bigger and taller. So it's actually benefiting Lover's Key. So I just see, it looks like more open space. Nobody's planting trees. For some reason, something looks like it was removed here on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I love all these houses. And now's a chance to buy a nice house that's been depressed in value. Got the money to buy, $3 million is just going to barely get you on the beach. If you're lucky. More like 4 or 5. But if you've got that much money, burning a hole in your pocket, and your dream is to buy on the beach, now's the time. Because you don't have neighbors. I mean, the building codes are the most relaxed at the moment. They're allowing people to be their own, the owner contractors to do their own work. Is the permitting? Although the permitting is charging an arm and a leg. They're acting like communist dictatorships over the proletariat. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of communists down there. You don't even want to deal with them. They almost want to spit on you when you come in line. Publix is still closed. Even though it looks like Publix, they pretty much renovated everything. People are parking here using the beach. Just towaways on, but people don't care. They're parking here. All these properties for sale. Again, the people that could renovate have renovated. There's a lot of properties though on the left-hand side. They need to be torn down. There's too much devastation. There's too much electrical issues with a home like that. You have to certify the whole property before you even do any kind of construction, because they can't turn the power on those properties, and that's just going to cost you an arm and a leg. You gotta just swallow your pride. If you have insurance, get insurance. If not, bulldoze the house or sell it as is. When you sell it as is, you're selling it for the property's value. So that property there, custom remodeling and remediation, good luck on that one. Wooden structure, I see the floor is buckled. Now this property here I really like, but I know they're not going to sell it to me. This is where Yachtsman Cove here in Fort Myers Beach had their tennis court. And there's no evidence of a tennis court anymore. They had a white picket fence surrounding this property straight ahead. And I would like to make it into a little commercial property. If I could put a real estate office elevated 1 floor above, I'll put a pickleball court in. I'll light it 24/7. They can play pickleball here. I'll put a drink fountain in for him, nice benches, umbrellas. But they would have to let me have the property for next to nothing if I'm going to do that. And I'll also put in an ice cream parlor and a bike rental place. And whatever else they want to put in. If they want a restaurant here, if I can squeeze one in, I'll squeeze a restaurant in. Whatever they want. If they need me to pay over time, I can do that. But the problem is, contractors are just horrible in this area. I mean, I could use worse words than I would like to, but I'm not. They're worse. They're worse than worse. Yeah, you contract for them to do something. Somehow they mess it up in their small brains, and they just can't do the work. It's like easy work. You ask a carpenter to do so, he can't even do carpentry. It's like you have a contractor's license. You know, they're like, well, I did it to the best that code says, and they don't even know what code is. They're just like completely confused. He was drifting a little bit. I can't drive so close to this concrete because I don't know if there's sharp, you know, because that's there's piles of porcelain, glass, other sharp pieces, you know, nails. Like this home on the left-hand side, once they demolish all these other homes that are severely damaged, it's going to have a peaceful environment around it. And then within 5 years, yeah, the vegetation will build up. I'm seeing more and more mounds on the side of the road, so I know they're digging up the foundations. All that's going to happen is that, you know, if they don't mow these lots, eventually you're going to have bushes and then trees grow here. It would be nice, though, to make a canopy over this bicycle path. That's one thing I would like the city of. They're going to build these huge... Oh, my God, look at this big mound here. This big sand mound. Wow. That's new. Where did they get all this sand from? You know? Oh, I see why. Because the seawall on the beach, there's a lot of erosion behind it. So, wow, that is amazing. They got that. Wow. Look at that bulldozer. Too bad that's not all gold. If this was gold-bearing dirt, you need a trommel. You would definitely need a trommel because, I mean, look at that backhoe way up there. Bulldozers pushing the stuff. I don't know why they're making a big mountain here. They're trying to be king of the hill or something. It's totally awesome. And that portion of the sidewalk is closed too. Wow. You know, I've noticed that some of the beach is missing. I wonder if they're purposely taking it from the beach and putting it in some areas that, you know, because Phil, $500 a truckload, that's worth a lot of money. If they're basically raping the beach, raping the beach, making $500 a truckload, that's decent money. Just think about all the people here who are hauling all this concrete and sand away. I mean, the concrete is good to make artificial reefs. It's good for filler too. You don't need to put, because eventually that concrete will break down. It'll take about 50 years, but it will eventually break down. All right, so this home on the left-hand side, this home basically owns all the property on the whole left-hand side. So on the left-hand side, that home owns this vacant piece of property. Now, who knows? They may have sold it. They own this property on the left, this property on the left, all this property for sale. They own it. And they own this hotel coming up in blue that was destroyed. I don't know what it's called. And then they also own the car wash and the laundromat. And this property up here, I like too. Problem is that they just want too much money. This home on the right-hand side coming up with a tile roof, it looks like it survived, but it didn't. I love that. That'd be nice too. It's for sale. And people, they collected on their insurance, and now they want to double dip when they want to collect on the property that they have left. Insurance paid out. Again, most properties only got $250,000, so a property like that is probably $6 million. So instead of $6 million, they're probably asking for $575,000. Destroyed like that. Forget it. Properties. There's so many vacant properties on the beach right now. Property values on the beach have come down. So they used to be about $1 million a lot. People right now, for some strange reason, think they're worth $8 million. That's down by Margaritaville, not over here. Margaritaville, Silver Sands, they bought their property for like $2.5 million. and then they sold it for $7.1 million. They bought the property completely built with a structure on it. Yeah, they put some improvements in it, but then they sold the property completely destroyed, basically torn to the ground for 7.1. So, and they held the property for about 20 years. Still, that's a nice return on investment. Holding the property for that long and getting insurance. Now, they should have gotten $250,000 for each one of their hotel rooms. To tell you the truth, they should have got, if they had a 20-room hotel, they should have got 250 times 20. So they really should file a lawsuit against their insurance company. So again, here's a truck, and we're coming up upon the Catholic church here. I forget what it's called. Yeah, they're moving more and more debris. It looks like all the debris right now is going down to Lover's Key. Probably a year's going down there. I would go down there and take a look at it, but the price of gas is skyrocketing again. I don't want to burn up gas needlessly. I might actually go out garage selling tomorrow morning too, so I gotta save the gas. So they have a lawnmower for $40. They had $50 on it. It was a good deal. And then I just made a mistake here. And then my friend bought a bike. I think for $20. It was a really. It was a nice bike. It was one of those beach bike with 10-speed. He got it for $20. He'll easily sell that for $200. That's easy money for him. And a lot of these homes that were just being built when hurricane hit, this is like the contractors. Some of them are charging, but some of them are not. But some of them are doing reinforcing work for free. That's like awesome. So if you contracted for a house, now again, the property value probably came down a little bit, but a lot of these contractors are doing reinforcing work for free in the house. That is totally awesome. So you're getting an extra benefit without even having, and of course they have to verify the electrical lines, so they're doing that for free, and it's really good. You have to certify that so it passes code inspection. And where some of the people are getting, they have to double pay because their contracts didn't state it, or their contracts did state it. In case of a hurricane, they have to pay again. Bingo. I'm just surprised that a lot of contractors don't prefer to do work during hurricane season. So in case a hurricane does hit, they can double dip like that. There's a lot of homes on the right-hand side that look like they survived, but I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at some of them. Besides the aluminum roofs, which look pretty good, the Flamingo Inn, this is pretty sad. I don't even see a Flamingo Inn. I see like 2 buildings of Flamingo Inn. Again, this building I like because it was a gasoline service station at one point. It was a bank at one point. Now people could use this to park and go to the beach for free. I think that's what they're using it for. Same thing with this building over here. I like this building. It's just, I have to do a little bit of aluminum work. Obviously it needs new air conditioning. The bank building I like the best because that one was, the walls of the bank have to be built so that, like we all suspect someone's going to try to blow up a bank with dynamite like they did in the Old West. So the wall, someone's going to try to drive a truck and break through the walls of so they have to build the walls that can withstand a big tidal wave. See this thing, nothing has happened here, nothing. They just want to sell the property without investing any more time or money into it. The problem is they still want $4 million. Wow. I'm going to call them up. I'm going to check them out. I have it on my videos. This property here is sad. There's a lot of hopium, a lot of hope, optimism, hopium. It's too much work, and 2 people are trying to do this work. I see a person over there trying to restore his house. You know what? If you have 24/7 and that's all you have to do, why not? It gives you something, you want to save your $4 million investment, why not? This hotel here on the right-hand side, this is the Outrigger. Sad. This was like one of the first hotels here on Fort Myers Beach. They always had openings here. I mean, literally, the Outrigger used to have the vacancy. Anywhere else in Fort Myers Beach was booked, and the Outrigger usually had a room. Oh, I hear work over here at the... Oh, no, that's behind the Charlie Brown. I thought Charlie Brown's on the right-hand side here, or left-hand side, excuse me. It's being worked on, but no, it's the house behind Charlie Brown's being worked on. This Charlie Brown's, sad to say, the nice copper roof, the nice tiki-looking copper roof that they probably spent $200,000 building has to be torn down. I just wonder how much they're going to get recycling for that, because copper right now is very expensive. The next place they build there is just going to use cheap aluminum. Now, aluminum is not really cheap because of this. Here's the Beach Theater. Again, this would make a great Jerry's shopping center if they could just reopen this place. I mean, nobody watches movies anymore, so a movie theater is dead. This building, I think it costs like $3 to $4 million to build. It's probably worth about $20 million now, but if you wanted to open up a restaurant, not a restaurant, well, yeah, a restaurant, but a Jerry-style supermarket, there you go, because that Beach Theater is raised up. This hotel on the left-hand side, again, there was like 2 or 3 people were working on it. They gave up. It's just too much work, It's too much work. Your fire marshal's telling you to stop, And what are you going to do? You have to stop, and then see these tennis courts on the left-hand side? I want to buy them. See, the property is ideal. Nobody plays tennis anymore. I could have like a food truck, food court here. Ice cream. I could even set up a cafe. People would like to, over here would be perfect along this dock. That dock survived. That's a nice wooden dock. And even boats can come up. It says no trespassing, but, it's a nice dock. I don't know who owns that dock, but it's nice. Probably it's owned by someone else. But still, look, the shuffleboard over there. Shuffleboard survived. I think it's right now. Let's see, there's a little walkway here. Let's see what's going on. We're on. Alright, so we're checking to see if the shuffleboard survived. You know what? There's 2 shuffleboards. This shuffleboard survived. See, this is made out of concrete. Now there's a little area there that's scraped, but yeah, you just brush back the weeds and this could stay here. I would love to have this thing reopened as shuffleboard. It's probably one of the only shuffleboards left on the island. Now over here, there's shuffleboard too. This dock, private property. I wonder who owns it though. Or the people who own this own those condos over there. That's where they park their boats. See, look, this shuffleboard over here survived, but no one maintained it to a great extent. I gotta be careful because there's gonna be those little prickly things that are gonna pop the tires. So this cracked. So this is no good. Cracked here and cracked there. This was shuffleboard. Now it's nothing more than a piece of slab of concrete. But this tennis court over here, I mean, it looks like garbage per se, but in terms of survival, it did survive the storm. This is where the other post would be, right here. I'm gonna bicycle right over it. Look at that, the water sheared that right off. So, you think water's not strong, but it sheared. These posts are made out of steel filled with concrete, and it sheared that thing right off. Now, obviously the post was rusted, but let me just tap it, see if it's hollow. All right, that one, strange as it is, that feels like an aluminum post. Huh. Wow. There must be like a steel anchor in it, and then, yeah, they put aluminum posts up. Huh. That's horrible. Anyway, so these tennis courts would be awesome. I mean, I wouldn't even take up the tennis courts. I would call it the tennis food court. And tennis food court. I'd put a trolley in here to move people up and down. This could be a trolley stop, you know? The trolley food court. All the trolleys would stop right here at the buses, and they would give them like 2 minutes to go get some ice cream and pizza. I'd have a food truck for ice cream, food truck for, and of course right over here I have my little tiny real estate office. Right over here in the corner. Man, I like this property a lot. Just wish they would sell it to me real cheap, because even with that low scale operation, it would still cost just in permitting. I mean, I'd have to get past the Fort Myers, the Lee County permitting and the Lee County permit. Oh, just ridiculous. And Fort Myers Beach would also try to stick their nasty paws in there. Just horrible. Okay, this is amazing. Okay. I'm looking, but you know what? I could barely see. If you look straight ahead, there's a big sand mound there. Now, there used to be the Wyndham Resort there. I think the Wyndham Resort is still there. It's just hidden behind all that sand mound. But where do they get all that sand from? And why are they dumping it right there? Why? So, what they're doing, I mean, I could foresee what they're doing. These dump trucks are coming from Lover's Key, and there must be a big grader, one of those shaker decks, out on. See, look, he's going back to Lover's Key, and so they have a big shaker deck on Lover's Key, and they're sorting sand and debris, and they're dumping the sand both here and near Winn-Dixie, not Winn-Dixie, right near public center of the island. And this is where the sand's coming from. Okay, so that answers the question from yesterday. So they're dumping it here because obviously this is worth $500 a truckload. I mean, they're charging the county $500 a truckload, every truckload, to move this sand here. And then they're dumping it here. Now it's going to cost them another. So someone is either renting this property and they have a business idea. They're dumping their trucks here, and they're charging $500 for fill. That's a fantastic business idea. That is fantastic. Look at that. That's all sifted sand. And who knows if there's diamond? No, there's probably no diamonds in there. There's probably no gold bracelets. There could be, though. But they're charging $500 a truckload, and then they get to keep the sand because they're probably renting this property for $1,000 a week. But they're making $500 a truckload. Wow. So it's the out of the box business ideas that are making money here. I wonder if he's going to make a mound as big as they made down by the Publix. Look at him up there. He's at a 20-degree angle. Huh, amazing. Well, with all those track blades, they're going to ruin that parking lot. Yes, that's for sure. And oh, he's dropping it all the way to the ground. Yeah. Oh yeah. That driveway is toast. So that's going to cost for them to fix that. That's going to cost about to fix that parking lot after they're done. That's about $100,000 in asphalt. So minimum. So I have a feeling that they bought that property. They bought that property. They're going to part it out, and they bought that property. They're going to part it out, and they're going to sell all that sand too. Or somehow Wyndham is going to make a big sarcophagus and make a big pyramid there out of sand. I don't know. That'd be awesome too, to make a sarcophagus. And so, see, look, they have a bulldozer over here they could be using over there. Two of them. Look, a little tiny one and a bigger one. Just sitting here doing nothing. And look at that, they have a little tiny bobcat backhoe. That's sad. They should be using that. Ground floor, they use the bobcat probably. It's too big to get in there. They just knocked out all the walls and stuff. Thank goodness there's no, all the load-bearing walls are left in place, but there's not that many of them. They did a great job. I mean, it's ready. It's ready to build. Okay, so now we're going to look at the Wyndham Resort from the beach side. Let's see if they're building the sarcophagus over the Wyndham Resort. Oh wow, just look at it. $500 a truckload. With all the sand, they might be able to fill in that lake. I mean, they don't have enough sand yet, but they will. And I wonder if those resorts were going to pay like $50,000 each to fill up that lake. See, now the idea of buying the Wyndham Resort and charging the county $500 a truckload. I mean, think about it, 500 truckloads at $500 a piece. So 500 truckloads, let me calculate that. That's 4 zeros and then 25. So that's $250,000 they're going to make. And then they're going to rent the property for probably $10,000 a week, which is a lot of money. But if they could charge each one of those condos over there $50,000 to fill in that lake, let's say there's 6 condos, that's $300,000 in revenue, plus another $250,000. So they're already up to $850,000 in revenue, but they're losing $10,000 renting it, unless they bought this property. If they bought this property, I wouldn't pay more than $5 million for it, but I mean, if they bought this property, they probably paid about 10, 15 million. Wyndham probably has good insurance, so they probably got cashed out. Again, if I was Wyndham, I would get $250,000 per hotel room. So for 200 hotel rooms, I would have gotten 250 times 200. So 250,000 times 200, that's what I would settle for, and that would be $50 million right there. Anyway, I'm going too slow here. I'm gonna get off the bike. It's too soft here to pedal, and the wind is just blowing me over right now. The wind is about 4 miles per hour. I'm looking down. Okay, that's southeast over there, and then that's south. And I'm looking to the west, northwest. Yeah. You can see a lot. Yeah, you can see a lot of detail. So there's not that much moisture in the air. The humidity's down. But I see tide is up. Now there's birds straight ahead of us in that little depression there. They usually, the ground percolation that comes up may be salt free. I'm not sure. It probably has a little bit of salt in it, but probably is more brackish than salt. So they're probably there sucking it up. The tide's so high, it's percolating in. It's percolating in, but the salt gets, from all that sand, gets prevented. There still is windblown sand, salt. But these birds probably live on salt water, so they, the beach looks a little more stable. Let's see if I can buy some. I've already downshifted. I'm going to have to downshift again. Right. I did spray some penetrating oil on my tire and wheels and gears and brakes and axles. I'm going to have to do that again when I go home. These are crows. Okay. Right. Oh yeah, it is high tide. Terrible. Oh. Well, it's high tide, but low. Let's see what the seashelling looks like. It looks all right actually. Compared to last week, it's not a full moon. It's a 2/3 moon. I forget what that's called. Alright. It's not too bad. I have it on the mid gears on second, and I have it on the low gear, the main gear, the main back gear. I guess that would be second, 13th gear. I'm looking at the quality of the seashells. I see a lot of broken, cracked seashells, so it looks like all the good stuff has been picked up or is turned under. So this is not inspiring me to stop and pick up seashells. Anytime you see color on the beach, that would be the time to stop, because when you see color, the eye gets distracted, and the eye doesn't focus too well when it's distracted by a lot of color. And that's where a lot of the seashells will hide in that color. A lot of the whole unbroken seashells. So it's where there's a lot of color on the beach. Colorful seashells. And when they're congregating, then like that scallop. A scallop has a reddish brown color. You don't see that. Or you see like a striped scallop. That's color. A lot of those shells. That's a good thing. Saw a fishing line. If I wasn't paying attention to this guy was dozing and letting his fishing pole. I think it's kind of rude though. He's sleeping, kind of texting. He's dropping his fishing pole and commandeering the entire 20 feet of the beach from his chair all the way to the waves. Fort Myers Beach, you don't have to bring a blanket, just lounge out. The hurricane actually killed a lot of the ants, and it washed a lot of the ants inland. So the one thing that, I mean, there's a lot of positives that the hurricane does bring. You know, some of the wave water actually killed a lot of the mold and mildew. People say it caused mold and mildew. It killed it. I'm not saying my house did fairly that well, no. I only had 9 inches inside. So, and most of my walls, I had reinforced, it's not spackle, but reinforced, not putty, what's it called? Anyway, I had the grout shoved in the wall, and that's watertight. So prevented a lot of water from getting in there. So it also filtered a lot of the water that did seep through there. So my house is not too bad. You know what? So the house has a new smell. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is the house had a smell before the hurricane. The house, it's an old house. What do you expect? Unless you were to take the house down to the concrete frame studs, and still it's going to have a smell. The wooden studs, the wooden framing is still going to smell different unless you rip everything out, and that's destroying the house and building a new one. There's no way you get rid of that sea smell. So you just have to live with it. It's an old house. It smells different. Old homes have smells. Hello. There's a fishing boat, and the guy left it. I didn't know if there was a line in there or not. I can't tell. So I was going too fast. So I ducked a little bit. I cringed thinking that there'd be a fishing line like on the Great Escape movie with Steve McQueen when he actually trapped that German motorcyclist, went through that line, got whatever you call that, get fish line. I don't want to get fish fish line. Going up slow. God. I want to get a paddle canoe. One of those foot pedal canoes that have the flappers on the bottom of them. Those gears, I've heard, they cost a lot of money. They cost like $2,000+. It's sad. I went to a garage sale. I said, "I'll give you $500 for it." He goes, "Ha! Chump change." I said, "He goes, that cost me like $2,500." For Charlotte. Oh man, this beach is getting soft. It's maybe the death knell. I like the sandbar like that. You know what I'm saying? If it's devoid of seashells, cool water, and you could run, jump, slip, fall, splash into the cool water, it's nice. I like that it's so close to shore too. That beach is really soft, so the tide is really high right now. I mean, it is extremely soft. Good thing I fixed these gears. Still, it doesn't compensate for the soft sand. Just allow me to apply more force. I love him. He's learning how to swim. He's learning how to doggy paddle. What a cutie. Wish the tide would go out. Looks like the tide's still coming in. So we're gonna have to cut this short because I can see ahead. The beach is just getting worse. All right, let's go like this one. Actually, no. Let's go out this way. I see people over there. I don't want to crisscross their property. I want to go out that way because it looked like there was an inlet, but I'm going to go this way instead because it looks like there's not really an easement, but there's a sign here. Oh, this is right near the church. Oh, the contractors here working. I just can't go any further on the beach. There's just too much. The surface too high. I'll have to really downshift. There's a point though. Even if you go lower on the gears, you have to maintain a certain gyroscopic speed. If you don't, then the inclination of the beach and the change in the slope of the beach is going to pull the bicycle if you don't maintain a certain speed, gyroscopic stability. These people are still building their house, but they're not going to let me. Hello. Is it okay if I go around your house? Is it okay? Oh, that's not your house over there? Is this your house? Okay. Oh, okay, thank you. Looks like this is an easement. Or this is a big house. There's a nice seawall here. Well, safety in numbers. These big homes, they'll break some of the side waves towards your house. These homes survive. That means they're built really solid. That home especially on the right hand side. I mean, that's been double, triple reinforced. There's some kind of a concrete mixer stamper, so the floor is going to be extremely hard, and they're mixing concrete too, so mixing it on site. They're probably putting in mixing it for the grout, but Or they could be mixing paint. Painting really nice. All right. Wow. All right. Well, that was disappointing. At high tide, getting killed. All right. So these people, she must own property over here on the left-hand side. So she's inspecting her destroyed property lines. This is probably her property. There's a nice tree left there and a pile of coral rock. Oh, and here's the beach access. So close. I think one of these homes, I think there was this home I admired a lot before it got destroyed. And there was a heat pump there sitting in the pool on the left-hand side. And that was a good 2-inch heat pump. Alright, so now we can just change the speed a little bit. See, I like that. It clicked and it locked in. I changed it to gear 3 and it locked in. So I used to do that before, like last week, and wouldn't lock. It would sound like it locked in, and then it would flip back to gear 2. But now it locks in the 3 and it stays in 3. It's really good. Oh. Alright, so we're coming up to construction zone. I'm going to have to cross over. And there's a lot of people on the beach. It's sad I can't go out there. Well, I'll try to after I get another drink at this church, then I'll go back on the beach. I'll check it out again because I want to go at least on the beach. Not really up to Bowwitch Pass, but I want to check it out. Alright, so here's the property again. I like where the Mid-Island cleaner, Mid-Island car wash. I like the property. They say they're putting sand here. Looks like they're going to rebuild. Tri-Power Realty owns this property right here on the corner. Again, that's property I would love to buy. And I don't care if they would require me to build 12 feet or 15 feet off the ground. That's not a problem. I just need an office here. An office with a nice street sign. That alone, with a website, phone number, wow, that is golden. That would generate 1 lead a day. 1 lead a day, and I would convert probably 1 out of every 3 at a minimum. I wouldn't go to sleep until I made back my money. All the people who own a lot of real estate on Fort Myers Beach are into real estate. You gravitate there. Now on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, look at that building. The building actually is collapsing. It needs to be torn down. But look at the deck, how it's tilted like that. It's almost 2 feet off of horizontal listing. Both sides. The front deck is 2 feet off horizontal, up in the air, and the back one is 1 foot because the house is sinking. The center posts that hold the house up are cracked, and mark my words, that's only going to take another month and that whole house will come crashing down. Whatever you do, don't buy it. Don't buy that house unless you're buying it for the property and you intend to demolish the house as is. The thing about homes like this, though, you never know. You never know if they stored their money in the walls or the floor. There could be a gun safe hidden in the wall. There could be, a money box in the floor or in the wall. So before the house is destroyed, you kind of want to take a metal detector and tip through the house and pry all the walls and floor and see if you see any type of cavities that would contain an ammo box or a money box. Something that, because once the home is destroyed, it's going to be under a pile of rubble. You're not going to want to go through there. Here's another pile they're making. They're probably saying, wait till. Now this is the better purchase. Unless if the other property was given to them with a song or dance, then that's okay. But this property is better because it was cheaper. It's closer off island. It's closer mid-island. And more people to the north side of the island here are going to need this. So, like all these people who own property here, they were all, a lot of them accreted sand, and some of them lost sand. Like this property here on the left-hand side, they need to, yeah, it's going to be sold, but those are wooden pilings. I mean, you need to cut them off, move the cinder blocks, and then elevate that property a good 5-6 feet. That's going to require at least 7 or 8 truckloads of sand. At least, maybe 12. 12 times 500, that's $6,000. And who knows, maybe it's going $1,000 a load now. Forget it. These canals, I'm surprised someone hasn't put a barge in these canals and charged the city of Fort Myers, Lee County, $500 to $1,000 a barge full to raise the sand that's in the canals. And then if someone needs the fill, charge them $1,000, the same boatload. So you make $2,000. I mean, true, you're not going to make a ton like they are here, but you might be able to charge $1,000 a platform and then sell it for like $5,000 if there's enough sand on it. I love this property. The pool doesn't look too good though. I don't know why they're saving the pool. I guess you could always re-marsite a pool and make it look beautiful, I guess. Again, here's the property I like on the right-hand side. And that's the Yachtsman Cove. Used to be, those lights used to supply tennis court. I would move the lights and put pickleball in there. Again, I'd put pickleball. I would, it's got enough room for a real estate office, pickleball, elevated real estate office, elevated ice cream shop, and then a bike shop with a, I would need a 3-car garage though. I would need one car for storage, one for ice cream, and one for bicycle storage on the ground floor, because you rent the bicycles on the ground floor. But the bicycle store itself would be raised, but people would drop off and pick up bicycles on the ground floor. That way they wouldn't have to bicycle up and down stairs. That would be sweet. And it'd be raised, so there'd be parking underneath the structure. So not only be parking on the street, but parking under the structure as well. Pretty much the employees would do that, but there would be extra parking on the street, and I would actually pay for that, paving the parking lot, building of the structure. I'd put in the white picket fence again. I'd obviously move the lights, put new LED light fixtures in there. It'd be solar powered too, rechargeable, so it'd be brighter 24/7. I'll put it in a little water. It'd be nice, but that's only if I could make a deal. I mean, I don't want to pay $500,000 and do all that just for the lot, and then have no money left over to build the thing. You know, if they sold that to me for $100,000, and I could do all that, I would. And then even if they wanted some kind of like a balloon payment 10 years down the road, as long with zero interest, you know, something that I could handle, like another $100,000 up front, $100,000 10 years down the road. I could even handle that, but you know, the problem is that I mean, I would be looking to get. I have money to do with development myself, but I mean, I'd be going after the SBA loan, so I would be incurring some interest because I want all the money up front to do the work, and then my money, I don't know. It's very risky right now to invest in the stock market, but I would want a little tiny slush fund. I want the money, so I would get the SBA loan. And I would go for $2 million because I might go for multiple properties. I might go for multiple properties and try to flip them. You know, flip them, take an ownership role in an investment property here, and then advertise it. You know, and then I'd probably offer a commission as well, but advertise it. You know, double the price. If I could flip it and make double, why not? You know, I'd be in the spec business, and if I could pay back the SBA loan sooner the better. Absolutely. An SBA loan would give you a little more credibility towards getting a building permit and stuff like that too. So if you qualify for SBA loan, the building permits will become a little easier. The problem with SBA loan, they're going to require you to have flood insurance, and that's going to be like raping me 1,000 times over. That's the only problem with that. So the nice thing is that you get $2 million. The bad thing is that you have to get raped. But then again, you have to get raped no matter what. I'm going to have to get some type of insurance, not just flood insurance, but I'm going to have to get not just flood insurance, but casualty insurance, liability, fire, theft, you name it. I'm going to get raped that many times over, but anyway. Alright, so there's a lot of people parked over here, but this is the $5 per hour parking. So these people really like parking over here, and they really like using that Lee County app. I guess, it's convenient to park right here. You're only going to spend 2 hours, that's only $10. Whereas park everywhere else, it's $20. You're going to have to technically spend 4 hours there. I guess. Alright, so coming up to that's the thing. Everywhere where there's basically a router that's working, and that's the way to do it. A router that's working. You connect using the app. You choose the parking spot you want. You pay for it. That way you don't have to have a meter. There's no extra visible urbanization garbage that you have to witness. It's more back to nature, even though there's still a sign that says $5 per hour. But you scan it with your cell phone. You download the app. You install it. It tells you which parking spots are available, and then you just pay for it. You're done. So Hibiscus Drive. This drive has the most RVs, and it's the same house where the RV is stuck in the sand. Again, look at all this tile on the side of the road. These pavers. Well, not this house, but sad for this house. They have a nice paver driveway that they paid $1 million for. Now the house is worth nothing. But the property is still worth $3 to $4 million. Look at this piece of property. Oh shoot, I didn't realize there was a big... This is an inlet. This was the inlet that was chewing up the road here. Hibiscus. Okay, so you can see that they filled in some of this, but they didn't fix the sidewalk. The sidewalk is what kept a lot of the waves back. That's why if they put a broad walk in, a broad walk would protect... obviously I'm not talking about the whole island. I'm just talking about Margaritaville, but... So they own that property. How would you like paying $4 million for a house and having it completely destroyed, and now you still own a $4 million lot that you have to pay taxes on? And the best you can do, because contractors are not around, and if they are around, they're wanting to charge you $1 million to do a flimsy house construction, which the homeowner has to buy permits. It's like ridiculous. It's like the contractors, they don't even do any work anymore. They're just like, oh, we have a contractor's license, so that gives us a license to rob you blind and charge you $1 million. Wow. And they still want the homeowner to pull all the permits. So if there is a problem with construction, the homeowner is the one that the city or town comes after. Wow. Amazing. The contractors could do the most lousy work because the homeowner is pulling the permits. And the permits, and if they find anything wrong, it's the homeowner that's got to pay now. It's ridiculous. And the county is like, well, the homeowner shouldn't pull the permit. Well, it's like, well, the only contractors who are available told us we have to pull a permit. They say it's a law or something, It's just the contractors are completely corrupt. If you can do it yourself, believe me, do it yourself. Don't hire. If you know people that can do the work, they're trustworthy, do it yourself. You'll save a boodle of money. And not only that, you save a lot of money. You could open up your own contracting firm. I was thinking about doing that. I know someone who's really good in drywall and painting, and another person's good in painting. I was thinking about opening up a drywall painting business. Drywall painting / roofing business. And charging, not exorbitant. You charge what's called 2 times inflated cost. That's what you do for contracting. And you're not going to make an arm and a leg. You may make $1,000 per job. But, if you're making $1,000 per job, that means you're doing the right thing. And you're telling the employees to go at it at a nice, easy pace. You don't give them pressure. And you let them take off time. You let them have flex time so they come to job flex. You just tell them that, well, our insurance says day up to day down, you can't be working overtime, whatever. There's some rules in the neighborhood here that says you can't work beyond 8 o'clock or whatever. You have to adhere to that. But, yeah, I'm coming back for another soda because this is terrible. It's free. I'm addicted to free soda now. I mean, once the 7-Eleven's open, I'll be paying my $2 a drink, but right now I'm getting these $1.50 drinks. Get these. They're not putting ice in here, but I like this stuff. Celsius sparkling cucumber lime. Wow. No one's drinking this stuff, so that's why they're giving it away for free. I was drinking some kind of like mango eucalyptus or whatever it was. I don't know what it was. Hello. Thank you. So, that home straight ahead is coming down. I mean, it looks nice. It looks like it survived. The people were rebuilding the roof. There was an electrical contractor that certified all the electrical still worked. And I actually got his phone number because I wanted to hire him. Of course, he's too busy. He's too busy. He goes, Fort Myers, where is that? I'm like, come on. We're on Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers is in that a little bit. Well, he couldn't even come out. So he's just too busy down here. I mean, there's so many jobs. There's so many jobs down here. Diamond Head could almost hire, and Margaritaville could hire all the contractors everywhere here to do round-the-clock work because they want to reopen. And, reopening means money, and they want to make money as soon as possible. So if they could hire 3 shifts, morning, noon, night, they would. But this home here, this blue home, it's got potential. It's just the meter's wiped out, so that's $5,000. I already talked to an electrical contractor. That's $5,000 just for that. The roof, I could do roofs. That's nothing, but still, that's going to cost at least $3,000 minimum. Now look at these people coming up here. They're building this house. They put in. It looks like a concrete. No, it's not concrete floor. I see wooden truss floor. A wooden truss floor, but they're putting this thing together fast, and they're building it. Look, that's fast. I would love contractors like that could do that type of work. They're building it one wall at a time. Look at that. They're building the walls on the ground and then they're hoisting them up and putting them in place. So they're squaring the walls off, built on the ground, and then they hoist it up into place. Like that's cheap construction. Get wooden truss flooring. That's cheap. Still, that house is going to be selling for $4 million. This house on the right-hand side, this house needs to come down. You know what? I mean, it needs to come down. It's for sale. The house was extended twice. It's all got wooden pilings, though. All these homes on the right-hand side, they all need to come down. It's all wooden truss. And the floors are bent, but once you get water touches a wooden truss, and the wooden truss will absorb all that water. The water will force it to bend, flux, bow, and then, the water will eventually dry out. And sometimes the wood will contract, and it will pull itself back into form like plastic, but most of the time it won't do that. If the floor was made out of plastic, it wouldn't absorb the water, and it may bow to the right or left, though. That's the thing. It may not bow up and down. It may bow up and down. Who knows? Plastic is weird, but plastic needs really heat to do that. And even pressure won't do that to plastic. It needs heat. I mean, salt Salt water is one of the most interesting properties. It can do a lot of things, but against wood, it causes treated wood to become untreated almost instantly. You submerge treated wood in salt water, forget it. That wood now is toast. So all that flooring that bowed out like that, it's still going to be buckling for the next 5 years. It's going to be contracting, bowing. It's primed now for insects habitation. Oh, it's horrible, because all that cyanide that was injected into the wood, the salt water now has released that, so it's gone. There's no protection left in the wood. You have to tear it down. That's why if you can get pre-stressed concrete flooring, pre-stressed concrete. See, Junkaroo. Oh, I should go out and back on the beach. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can get back on the beach here. I'm not here because I'm kind of guarding the. Something in that truck. Are you gonna rebuild?
Not me.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. I don't see any police here. And I see an opening, so I'm gonna go for the opening. It says no trespassing. Oh well. Just gonna wait, making sure there's no police here. And then I'm gonna go for the beach. Some asphalt, nice. So I like the breeze because the breeze is causing this nice surf, this inland surf, and the inland surf is blowing the sand back towards the beach. The problem is, I really wanted to find a garbage can to throw away the Celsius can. And the terrible thing is now I have to hold it. I doubt there's going to be a garbage can on the beach. I don't like littering, so I'm not going to litter. There's somebody on the beach bicycling. So he's making a good clip. I wonder if the tide's going out right now. Probably, so he's got a... All right. Try it again here. I'm looking northward on the beach, and not until you get to Diamond Head does it get crowded. So it used to be this area in front of the Fort Myers Beach RV Park and the Red Coconut RV Park. This was like one of the most densest concentrated on the beach because of all the mobile homes and the accessibility. And the both the Fort Myers Beach RV Park and the Red Coconut had bathrooms in the office that you could use. And there was also porta potties outside. But, oh yeah, tide is slightly going out now. This is good. So it must be about 1:30 right now. All right. Wow. Oh yeah, this area of the beach is still wet. So. Oh yeah. Oh, I like this beach now. Alright, so again, I'm looking at the right-hand side. Left-hand side, the surf was awesome. The shelling is going to be amazing this evening. This evening around 6 o'clock, forget it. When low tide hits, it's going to be phenomenal shelling. See a lot of people not in the water though, because with tide like this, you're going to have big, sharp shells floating in. You really need to go out with surf walkers out in the water here. I would highly recommend, especially Fort Myers Beach, even Sanibel. There's not one beach that I would recommend. I'm trying to think, maybe the Lighthouse Beach, where you can walk out at high or low tide and not step on a sharp object. I haven't been to Lighthouse Beach though in a while. The tide is slowly going out. It's nice. Yeah, this is the perfect tide. The tide was up here, it hardened the sand. Now it's receding a little bit. It's taking the seashells with it. And the dog barking at me. 2 dogs. We're looking at the pelicans over there. That's what happens when pelicans. Pelicans are really they're really sociable creatures, and pelicans are not afraid of humans. They almost, most pelicans grew up around piers because they got good eyesight and they see fishermen bringing up fish, so they fly over to the boat to check it out, and then people throw some fish up to them. That happens to pelicans almost since they were born. So they lose their fear of humans like immediately. Now pelicans are smart too because they know humans are big. They understand, the bigger you are, you rule, So pelicans will allow like seagulls to come right up to them. They know that they're bigger than them. Pelicans realize that dogs are fast, but they learn from a very early age that humans are like no threat to them. So they'll land on boats. If they see fishermen out, they'll land, and they'll put on their big sad puppy face, and fishermen will feel obligated to give them fish. And pelicans love that. In fact, there were some really tame pelicans on the Sanibel Pier. You can walk right up to them and pet them. As long as you had a fish, you can almost pet them like a puppy dog. They were that tame. Although the Sanibel Pier got wiped out during the hurricane, so I'm not sure if Sanibel's going to rebuild their pier or not. Probably will, but it's going to take a while. So it's still spring break a little bit. Spring break officially ends when Easter ends, so it's next week. And so Diamond Head's coming up. So the propensity of running into little kids or dogs becomes higher. I'm still looking at the surf here on the left-hand side. It's awesome. This is awesome surf. If you have an injury to the leg or foot, just standing up in the surf here, even drinking a cold beer, will just do wonders. That'll heal you almost instantly. If you have poison ivy up north, like you get poison ivy like in late May, early June, especially July, come down here. The Florida sun and the salt water and the beautiful air will cure you in one day. It will destroy whatever it is that's causing that itch. That's amazing. Thank you. I'm telling you, it's spring break. Well, so anyway, there's the Diamond Head coming up on the right-hand side. I'm looking at it. The pool's still under construction. The restaurant's still under construction. The rental rooms where they have conventions, they're still being converted, but every hotel room above that is for rent. So, and I can see by the amount of people on the beach here, they're doing a big business. Sorry. I'd like to give the children wide berth in case they become spastic in front of me. Again, I'm looking at the surf. It's just totally awesome. And there's no smell of like red tide. This is like perfect beach smell. It's almost like fresh, clean air with just a tad little bit of salt. Nothing really. I mean, there's a little seaweed, but nothing. It's almost like cleansing the air. The air almost has too much oxygen in it. So everyone's looking at. There's a hotel to the right. Every week I go by here, the roof collapses just a little bit more. You can't see it from the road, but you can see it from where I am. And it's the hotel just to the north of Diamond Head. It's collapsing. still, it's a good investment. You know, you have to subtract that part of the building. You have to redo the roof, but it's still pretty. It's a pretty sound structure. You can still rent 14 rooms. Now again, 14 rooms. If you could sell those as condos, it's still a gamble. You know, I would have to buy the property for $5 million or less. I'd have to sell each room for $1 million, and it would take you $2 million to get that recertified, and to basically redo every single room. But still, if you can make, you know, still even if you get eight times 2 times 16, hold up, you get $16 million, and it costs you 7, and then you put $9 million in the bank. That's not too bad. It may cost you another $1 million in some kind of miscellaneous servicing fee, but still, $8 million in the bank for a year's worth of work. That's not too bad. And that's hiring people too. With that extra servicing fee, you're hiring probably about 20 to 30 people to work, 30 probably. Okay, now these beach bars, the key Estero Shopping Center, that's where most people are parking for $10 a day. It's crowded right here. Garage sale today. They were selling a nice black cowboy hat, a big one, size 20. I have a big head, and it just fit me perfectly. They want only $10 for it. I have a nice one. Mine's out of leather. Mine's black leather, which is really nice. This one was like not really a straw hat, but it was like one of those really tiny, almost microscopic straw. But it wasn't even weaved. It almost was like glued, but it was a fantastic hat. It had a nice name brand on it. I forget, it said George or something. Only just $10. I probably could have got it for $5. I should have bought it, but I'm trying to move right now. I don't want any extra clutter. It's a beautiful hat, though. I don't know where I'm going to wear it. I couldn't wear it bicycling. If I wore it bicycling, I'd look like a police officer on a bicycle, like a Florida Highway Patrol on a bicycle. So everyone's enjoying themselves here. It's almost, it's like this is spring break now. This looks like spring break. So you have the boats parked in front of the Lana Kai here, but you know, people park boats where there's bathrooms. There's no bathrooms here, so they're just parked because this is where they historically park. So the beach gave back a little of the sand. The beaches go out another 20 yards, so the beach has collapsed a little bit. That's what you do when you go into the store. You buy matching bikinis. That's how you do it. I'm wearing all black, so people think I'm a police officer. I'm just not wearing a gun. I should be wearing a gun. Damn it. They need bicycle police here. Bicycle police with big smiles on their face and drinking Celsius soda. I would just love doing that. I love bicycling between Baldwin Point all the way to Diamond Head. Just keep on going back and forth on the beach. I love it. There's some missing beach up here. When I say missing beach, the beach actually grew in elevation, so some of the beach didn't grow, and that's right near the tip of Margaritaville here. So they're going to need some of that sand over here. So again, $500 to $1,000 a truckload, and I can see they're going to spend about $20,000 to elevate the beach a little bit. Now maybe if they dredge the canal where they are, they could fill in some of the holes that they got. Margaritaville, they're doing fantastic. They just need to put the banisters up basically on the outside. That's probably the last thing they're doing, because the easiest way to get furniture in is from the slider side to get the furniture in the rooms. So they're probably not going to put the banisters up until all the furniture is in the rooms. Nice big sandcastle. I tell you, it's getting more crowded as we get towards the. I mean, look at the pier, how destroyed it is. That center, there's the section where all the pelicans are at. That's where all the people fish. They still got some capstone on that, and then right in the middle there, that's where that store was. There's some capstone there. But I just passed someone who just pulled a surfboard out of the water. It's pretty awesome. It has some kind of hydroplane on it. It's pretty awesome. Careful, I don't bump into these people. Look at that big dog in the water. That's pretty cool. Oh, look, he's jumping on her. So excited. I tell you, that is a big St. Bernard. Wow. You can almost ride that dog in the water. He could do like a. Oh, here's the Trump. Not Trump, the Trump. I guess this is a trombone. He's playing the Star Spangled Banner national anthem on his trumpet. Oh, now he's changed. Looks like the tide's coming back in. I have to go fast because you got a lot of music here. I don't want to record the music. Sad. Here's the trumpeter. So he's been out here for decades. He's making a name for himself. I mean, let's face it. You get out of high school, you know how to play a musical instrument, the trumpet, the trombone, whatever. And trumpet, trombone, I don't know what he's playing. You don't need a college degree. He just comes out here every beach. Maybe a movie star may hit him. Give him a part in a movie for something, some no-name part, and all of a sudden becomes recognized and becomes famous. It's that simple. It just shows you really don't need college. College, there's no real exposure. There's nothing. They don't do anything on college to make it credible or notable. So going to college is almost useless today. Walking on the beach with a trombone, trumpet, or whatever he's playing. So, talking about these pelicans. Some of these pelicans. So what happens is that Pelicans are usually trained by either a male or female or both. So there could be one male or one adult pelican training everyone else. But if their parents get killed, then all the sibling pelicans will get together and train themselves. And they'll start off doing slow dives. They'll do slow dives in shallow water. Some of the brown pelicans will actually act like white pelicans. They'll do like swan, like corralling of fish in low tide between the sandbars, and but eventually they'll start graduating themselves, and they'll see other pelicans. Oh, the pirate ship just went out, so they're going to come back. And normally they fire their cannon when they're in front of the Lana Kai. So they just went out. There they are. Hold on. You can see them straight ahead right now. That's the pirate boat, straight ahead. So they'll make their way back along the shore, and they probably have a whole pirate history, pirate, arr. And, that's what goes on. This is still crowded. I'm not going to go too much farther down. I'm going to cut back. I'll go down to the Best Western again. The beach is really perfect for bicycling. That girl just splashed me. See, you got these pelicans. Some of the pelicans did not survive this hurricane, so they're without parents. So they've been fishing in shallow water for the longest while because they've been looking down from their mangrove perches in some of these mangrove islands, in the back waterways, and they've been feeding on dead fish. They've been feeding on little tiny fish that are just not watching. They're basically self-teaching themselves how to. And now they're coming out, and a lot of their parents didn't survive the hurricane, so they have to fend for themselves. And especially in stormy water like this, it's hard to fish. So a lot of them are fishing in Hurricane Pass. Not necessarily Hurricane Pass, but they're fishing in whatchamacallit. I can forget the name of the pass here. Not Matt O'Shea. Oh gosh, it's terrible. All right, I'm going to exit right here because that's the Best Western that I have my eyes on. But it looks like I can get out here. I can see a for sale sign. So I know there's a road access here. Maybe I can find the garbage can. Matanzas Pass, that's the word I'm looking for. So a lot of pelicans will, because the water is rough here. I even seen another school of pelicans up there. So yeah, that means that these pelicans really, they're learning how to. A lot of pelicans died in this hurricane. This hurricane didn't just cause problems for humans; it caused problems for the wildlife, especially the pelicans, because the pelicans they don't have like a dacha inland somewhere. A lot of pelicans do. The ones that are very mature will experiment and explore, and they'll go inland to some of these lakes. And but still, the hurricane was the hurricane spanned half the width of Florida, basically. So the pelicans, they stayed roosting until the water swept them away, and they died. The pelicans, 150 mile per hour wind. Pelicans can't fly in that. So they would have been stuck on their They would have been stuck on their mangrove trees until the water level rose up and engulfed them and washed them away. They could have tried to fly, but there would have been so many tornadoes around. They would have been, that's it. They would have died. They would have drowned. So a lot of the younger pelicans that did survive for whatever reason, luckily, they have to now fend for themselves. So they band together because they're sociable animals and they're helping each other fish. So they start off in the shallow water with shallow dives. They dive at maybe 3 or 4 feet above the water, and then eventually they get more and more confident. And then you see pelicans diving from like 30 yards up, coming in like a kamikaze, and they hit the water. That they're experienced. They got their fish, and they're an older one. So pelicans that are fishing by themselves are the experienced ones. The ones that are fishing in groups like that, they are the young ones. They're just learning. All right, so again, people don't want to park at the bus stop here. So the bus stop is out of service. There's no parking here. I don't know why people can't park here. I guess if you do park here, you're going to get a ticket unless you're like motoring, like parked in a motoring position. They'll just give you a warning. But yeah, this parking center is free right now, thank goodness. Until they put that $5 an hour sign up, then bingo, it's going to be $5 an hour. And you know that's coming. You know it's coming because it's just a matter of time. They're probably printing the signs right now, the $100 signs. They got to print 300 of them. They're going to make that money back in no time. We'll go down to St. Carlos Boulevard, see if anything's changed in this area. We're on bicycle, so we can get down the sidewalk. Why not? I like that Wynn's place, but it's just too much money. If you had a coffee bar, if you somehow could have rooftop dining on that Wynn's place, rooftop dining, coffee bar, and you put some umbrellas on the roof, that would be a nice business. If you had a coffee bar on the roof and you were dining up there with some, you need some tents or some kind of shade up there. But if you had some shade up there, and then the ground floor, you could have an ice cream, and then you could also have a little gift shop. That would be profitable. But you would need to have some kind of parking. You just can't expect everyone to walk up. And the coffee bar could double as some kind of a restaurant at night. Coffee bar during the morning and in the day, and then have the restaurant at night. Thank you. Okay, that's interesting. So a store just opened up there, kind of like a store on the outside, playing some music that I'm not familiar with. 70s music I never got into, except everyone else that I knew probably knows it by heart. Looking for a trash can. I see a dumpster over there. These trash cans we just passed, it's kind of hard for me. I'd have to come to a full stop. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way down here. I'm kind of curious to see the Matanzas Inn, to see if they're built, but I'm going to go the wrong way here because I'm going to go on the sidewalk. We're on bicycle, so we're exploring a little bit. I have some shade here. I don't see a garbage can, but I see some shade. I do see a garbage can. It's on the other side of the road, and it's protected. I can't really get to it. Oh, there's a dumpster right there. Terrible. It's horrible. Alright, since we're exploring, we get to explore. Alright, now talking about under the bridge, there is a beautiful, cool breeze blowing here. A beautiful, cool breeze under the bridge only. Oh, it's heaven. So I'm bicycling towards the beach, there's a breeze blowing, and it's totally awesome. Now we are going to go for this trash can over here. So we're going out from the beautiful, cool breeze, and almost instantly, the cool breeze turns into a warm breeze. We're not under the bridge anymore. Made it. Gets 2 points, and he gets to go back under the bridge. Right, let's check this out. On a bicycle, it's pretty cool, right? Now I'm coasting. Oh yeah, he gets back under the bridge, and the cool breeze returns. Wow. I mean, if you have sunburn, I put sunblock 50 on. Whew, man. It's a hot one out today. Definitely you have a tanning factor of a 10, so make sure you have it. SPF 30 minimum if you're out for an hour. Longer than an hour, SP 50, that's for sure. And once you go in the water, you come back out, you have to spray some more on. I'm even tanning. You gotta be careful when you live in Florida. You have to really understand how long you're out in the sun. You have to measure your exposure all the time. There's only so much melatonin to reflect the sunlight. Humans weren't made to live in Florida, that's for sure. Okay, you have the Tiki Bar at the Lighthouse Resort. It is packed. There must be 200 people around that pool right now. They're all eating. I'll tell you, that's where the Lighthouse Resort makes its money, at the Tiki Bar. Each person here probably has a $15 hors d'oeuvre, plus another $10 drink. That's $25. And you have that. I mean, come on. Hotel rooms here are $100 a night. They're making, eat 2 meals here, that's $50 as it is. Forget it. So, as long as they get their Tiki Bar up and running. So when Margaritaville opens, to tell you the truth, the Tiki Bar is actually going to double their volume of customers, because people are not going to be able to afford the Margaritaville prices. They're going to come right over to the Tiki. And if the Lighthouse Resort, what do they call it? The Lighthouse Resort, I guess. If they understand that, they're going to double their income just with Margaritaville. And their wooden structures here, they're going to need to. I see they're renovating them, but they're just fixing them. They're not like tearing them down. That's the sad thing. They're just tearing off the old outer and put lipstick on a pig, which is sad. They really need to knock down these buildings and put new ones up. But I like how they're putting lipstick on a pig, though. That's what it takes. They gotta get all their buildings up and running, and making money because a lot of their buildings here are totally destroyed. I see they're trying to slap lipstick on a pig on these too, but right. We're crawling up this bridge, and I have it on a hard pedal cycle, seeing how far I can get. Crushing my knees here, trying to get up this bridge, not at a low level, a low gear. Oh. Yeah, the Lighthouse Resort, their tiki restaurant, that is a gold mine. That's a hidden treasure here, Fort Myers Beach. If you're looking for a place to hang out that's cool, that's open like at 9 a.m., you get a drink. The prices again aren't like as cheap as like Pete's Time Out had $2.25 beer. That was the best place to hang out with. They never opened until like 10:30 in the morning. Unfortunately, Pete's Time Out was wiped out. The Lighthouse Resort, their beer is like $3.50, but they're open at 9 in the morning. And they have perfect shade, and they're near a pool. Now you're not allowed to get in the beer, in the pool with a beer, unless you have a paper cup. You can't go in with a bottle. I can't believe I made it up this bridge. I was starting to hyperventilate, but made it. I'm looking at the Dixie Fish Company. There's still some sunken boats that are stuck around the docks and the moorings. This Bonita Bills. They've still got one boat upside down, crunched onto a dock, and another one, which is like almost a signature landmark now, stuck up, not going anywhere, stuck on a dock, and people are there. They're lined up to eat. So it's good though. They're gonna make all this money. I mean, people are out in lounge chairs eating. Wow. I mean, wow, it doesn't get much cooler than that, right? I wouldn't eat there though. But I mean, if you're into seafood, locally caught, and you're afraid of Microsoft or the Walmart tainted food that's got experimental Beyond Beef or cancer chicken, yeah, oh, definitely come to Fort Myers Beach and eat at Bonita Bills. They got fresh seafood with no cancer-causing whatever junk that they put in the food, trying to kill everybody. Sorry, I have to point fingers, but you know, there are some people that are definitely guilty. I don't care. They can bring me in the court of law. Bill Gates is guilty. You know, so is what's his name? That's the problem. This World Health Organization, they are guilty of killing people. So anybody working for the World Health Organization, they're guilty. All right. So anyway, the property on the right-hand side. It's noisy day and night, but you know, they pretty much cleared the pads. It's ready to be occupied. And then the property on the left-hand side, it's noisy, but if you want to ride your bicycle to the beach every single day, you want to retire, this is the place to do so. So again, there's the Warfields restaurant was taken down to a pile of rubble over there. That's Vixen's in that tent. And then the building I want to buy over here, they still haven't fixed it, so I don't know what's going on there. It says the Bolton, the Beach Observer. There's also a property medic in the back there, but it's probably a rental because they would have fixed it by now. I don't see I don't see anybody lifting a thumb for the last 7 months over there. Okay, I'm taking the life in my own hands now. I'm going out halfway. We'll see what happens here. Made it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow, I don't know if I can squeeze another beach video in, and people are sick of Fort Myers Beach. I'm sick of going to Fort Myers Beach, but we'll see. All right, until next time.